What's up, dudes? All right, thought I'd give you guys a neat little story here. Story of deceit and deception. A nice little story of revenge. My first ever job was at Wendy's. So if you guys saw me in that video with healthy junk food where I knew everything on the Wendy's menu, that's why. The first Wendy's I worked at was absolutely awesome. I really enjoyed myself. I was there for about the better part of a year. And then a Wendy's opened up right around the corner from my house. And my dad kept badgering me until I changed locations and started to work there. That's when all the problems started. The manager there, his name was like, what was it? It was like Doug Money-Making Hankin is what he called himself. And he had like a little plaque on his desk. Doug, when I first started working there, he told me that, mind you, this is my first job, so I didn't know. He told me that I'd have to go through all the paperwork once again, and it's going to take, about a month to get my first paycheck. And I was like, okay. And then he also told me that they didn't have, we used to clock in with these credit card things, like sliding through this time card thing. He told me that they didn't have any more cards, that he's ordering some, but don't worry about it, he's plugging it into the computer. Hindsight's 2020. Totally get it. You guys probably getting where this is going. So, 3 weeks come and go, and no paycheck. And he's like, probably just some paperwork errors. Just give it another couple weeks. A month and a half goes by, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, you know what? I'll call him. I'll get it straightened out. He keeps stringing me along like this. No paycheck. No paycheck. I worked there for 3 months, and then I just walk in. I walked in right on time to when I'm supposed to be starting my shift, plain clothed. And I remember walking up to the counter, and by the way, everyone that worked there was an asshole. Everyone. Like, I rode my bike there because it was closer, so I didn't have to drive like I did at the previous store. They stole parts off my bike. I brought it into the break room so that it wouldn't get stolen outside. They stole parts off my bike at work. People were assholes. The first place I worked at, everyone was great. This one, all assholes. And I feel like that starts from the top down, clearly. So, 3 months in, no paycheck, and I just walk in and I quit. And the chick behind the counter when I walked in plain clothes was like, oh, I know you're not about to quit right now, so I have to work a double. And I was like, can I speak to the manager, please? So, I quit my job, no paycheck for 3 months. And I contacted the labor board, which, mind you, difficult to do back then because we didn't really have the internet like we do now. Not that I'm that old, but we just didn't. The problem with the labor board, and getting in contact with them, their business hours were when I was in school. And they didn't work weekends. So I would go to school at like 6 in the morning to catch the bus. By the time I got the bus home, it was like almost 5. Like, there was no time for me to contact the labor board. And then when I finally did, they got in contact with Doug. Surprise, surprise! He tried to pull a fast one. And he was successful. I got one paycheck from him for like, I think it was like $117 for 3 months. And I was livid. I was out of my mind pissed. And, but what can I do? I couldn't prove anything. I didn't have copies of all the schedules. It wasn't electronic. There was no paperwork, and he made certain of that. That's normally where the story would end. Because my dad was like, you got paid, you should be happy with that. My dad didn't give a shit, which just infuriated me. Literally this whole problem boils down to my dad making me change. I was like, Dad, why change it? Like, I remember when he was trying to convince me to take this job to the closer one, I was like, why? I have a good working environment. I like the people that work there. What happens if this other location is terrible? And sure, lo and behold, it was terrible. Fast forward a few years later, after my first year in college, I have a college job during the summer working at a restaurant as a waiter. So, I'm working this job as a waiter, and who should I see in the dining room but Doug? Now, he's not at my table. He's at someone else's. And he happened to have ordered a salad. And I walked over to the waiter or waitress that had his table, and I said, hey, that's an old colleague of mine. It's an old friend of mine. Would you mind if I bring him the salad? And they were like, sure, absolutely. And so I walked over to Doug with his salad, and I just gently placed it down at the table, and he looks up and sees me. Fear just strikes this man in the face. Visible fear, because he knows what he did. And I smiled at him, and I was like, good to see you, Doug. I made that salad just for you. Now, I didn't, number one, and I didn't do anything to the salad, but he thought so. He thought I did. So he just, like, you could tell he had just rooted through it to try to see what I'd done to the salad, which I didn't do anything. And then he left, paid, and apparently left an okay tip for the waitress, but he didn't eat the salad. And, oh, man, that felt better than had I actually done anything to the salad. Like, just knowing that deep in his mind, he's like, what did he do? Because he knew he deserved it. He was just that much of an asshole. But anyway, so there's my story. I hope you guys dig it. I'll chat with you guys later.
Love it.